What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my highly emphatic co-host, Josh. What's up, Josh?
Ooh, I'm feeling good today. I see Dustin in the chat right now. I saw you just tag me something on Twitter. I think it's Antonio Brown doing a dance. He said I have to do this on the show at some point. I'll do it. I got to practice a little bit. I was thinking about doing it today, but I was like, I didn't feel comfortable enough. Next time, Dustin. Maybe next time.
We are not talented dancers. Maybe I should just speak for myself. So if we're going to perform publicly, it requires at least 2 weeks of practice to get out there on that. Guys, also joining us today, coming back for more. He's been on the show before. He gave maybe the greatest Scooby-Doo related rant we have ever seen, not just on this show, but it's got to be on YouTube in general. Teddy Rinkinson is with us. For those of you that do not know Teddy, you can find him on Twitter at Teddy Rinkinson. He's a staff writer over at DK Nation, and we're hyped to have you back today, my man.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you introducing me first because I'm not the star of today's show.
There's a reason
we got
the star coming up next.
You're a star in our eyes, Teddy.
Guys, and also joining us today, as Teddy alluded to, last but not least, it is Teddy's better half. We've got Brooke Pryor on the show with us today. For those of you that do not know Brooke, you can find her on Twitter at BE Pryor. That is Pryor. She is an ESPN NFL Nation reporter covering the Steelers, and we are so excited to have you on today with us, Brooke.
I am so excited to be here, and I'm looking around. I don't know how I didn't notice this in the pre-show, at everyone's handles or intros on the lower third. Everybody's got a Twitter handle, and I just look like a noob with my first name, last name, because we all know that in 2022, first name, last name doesn't matter. It's actually your handle. So I just put my whole government name out there. I'll get better.
Official, Brooke. I like it. I like it looks very clean. We know exactly who you are. That's what it's about. It's a little clunky having Josh at FYF. A lot to remember. Too much to remember. I'm on your side.
I changed my last name to at FYF Simon just
with the line in between.
Well, that's my middle name. Is the line in the middle? Yeah.
It's actually an I.
Yeah, it's a lowercase L, Teddy. I don't appreciate you making that assumption like that.
Guys, I bet you there are plenty of people out there that have last names at whatever. Yeah.
Which president is it? Harry Truman, whose middle name is S. There's one of the presidents like Harry S. Truman, and I believe one of them, the middle name is just the letter. Where's coming here now? Where's our presidential trivia guy in the chat? We've got someone who comes in with presidential trivia once a week. Come here now. Confirm that for us if you're in the chat. Guys, we have some people in the chat ready for today's show. Alex in here. It is not Mock Draft Monday, but he's ready to mock our bracket selections, which is fair. Usually our bracket selections don't go over well with the chat.
We decided to get everyone nice and angry at us early in the week rather than.
And I can tell Dustin's already going to be pissed by the wide receiver duos that he's expecting to be on the bracket, because I will tell you, only one of those three made it, Dustin. So get ready to be angry. We got Albert in the chat saying, good afternoon. What's up, Albert? Glad to have you in here. And we got Dave, Team Simon, always and forever. Dave, I missed that. Being gone off the show the past couple of days, it just raises my spirits every day.
I know you always shouting out Simon, but I love that you did. It's just very comforting seeing you in the chat, just being, the biggest Simon supporter in the world.
We've got Jay in the chat saying it's bow time. It is bow time. Man, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I'm going to hold back on that front, but I think we got some Bojangles love in this room today that we're gonna get a little bit out there. We got Justin saying, yes, Truman is just an S. He thought it looked more professional, so he added it. It's perfect. Simon,
that's a good Jeopardy tidbit. I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah, remember that at your next pub trivia night. We got JL in the chat saying hi. What's up, JL? Glad to have you in here. And Jordan in the chat saying, right on, cool baby. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but I totally agree, 100%. Can't argue with that. Guys, like I mentioned, we brought Brooke and Teddy here today to do some brackets. The two brackets we're going to be covering today, we're going to be talking about some of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL, determining which one is the best wide receiver duo. And then right after that, we're talking favorite fast food breakfast. We got some great options on there, 8 options on each list. We're going to be voting on head-to-head matchups until we have a winner from each bracket on that front. Before we do that, though, I wanted to give a couple reminders. Number one, if you're not already following our guests on Twitter, go and fix that right this instance. You can find Teddy at Teddy Rinkinson, like previously mentioned, and you can find Brooke at BE Pryor. Truly some of the best in the business. And if you're looking for the hot scoop on Steelers, it's not just fantasy. You're getting the real Steelers inside scoops from Brooke over there, so make sure you go follow her as well. After that, if you're watching the show, that means you're probably already on our YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit that like button if you're enjoying what you're watching. Hit that like button if you hate what you're watching. Hit that like button if you're indifferent to what you're
Just
watching.
hit the like
because it'll
button.
hurt
Just
our
do it.
feelings if you don't.
Come on.
And then subscribe to our channel to make sure you don't miss any more of these streams. We're
Thank
live
you.
every day, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, right here playing games. That's all we do. You guys ready to get into our first bracket?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do this. And we got
About to
Coop
get
in the
into
chat saying chat already has the pitchforks out. Yeah,
I know.
they are
I
ready
know.
to go for it. Guys, here's our first bracket. It is going to be best wide
Don't hate
receiver
us.
duos. And I'm going to mix up the order here.
Go
Brooke,
easy on us.
You're going to be starting, Teddy. We'll have you go second, Josh third, me fourth. And then with each matchup, we'll switch who's going first. We'll go down the line right here. This is best wide receiver duos. If you want to talk from a fantasy perspective, go ahead. If you want to talk from an NFL on-field perspective, that's great. Just make sure you let us know your reasoning in which of these pairs that you are
I'm going to bring a
selecting.
very creative perspective to this, just to give you guys some context. I might have everyone's
just
Madden
picking-
rating. I didn't tell anyone this, but I have everyone's Madden rating in front of me. So
Wow.
I'm just letting you know. I got it all in front of me, and I'm going to be discussing that a little bit.
Like, I felt good about the fact that I was doing notes. Actually, Teddy kind of made fun of me before we hopped on here. We were sitting on the couch together eating a very late lunch, and I was typing and looking up stats, and he said, "Are you taking notes for this?" And I was like, well, yeah. And he goes, "Wow, what a nerd. I'm going to go do my stats, or I'm going to go do my notes now." So we both came prepared. Looking at the first bracket, I'm going Chase Higgins. I really like what Jamar Chase and T. Higgins did last year for the Bengals. I go back and forth on this because I'll convince myself of one and then I'll change my mind. But I like Joe Burrow more than I like Justin Herbert, which I can't believe I'm saying that I'm going to change my mind in 5 minutes. But in real life terms, I'm going Chase Higgins. Looking at the stats last year, I mean, Jamar Chase had an incredible rookie season, 85 receptions, 1,400 yards. This is coming off a preseason where he said that he couldn't really catch the ball because it was bigger than he was expecting. So if that's what he could do as a rookie, I'm excited to see where he can go from there.
Absolutely. One vote for Chase and Higgins. Teddy, are you agreeing with Brooke there? Or are you going to go on the Allen Williams side here, some of those Chargers guys?
Yeah, I'm going to start off keeping our household on the same page, just because, obviously, yeah, when we leave here, y'all won't see, Brooke and I together, but I'll have to deal with whatever bad choices I make during this podcast and this show. But I'm going to go with Chase and Higgins as well. So I am kind of doubling down there just because it's going to be an interesting bracket to see kind of how all of this plays out with the different reasonings we give. And at the moment, we're kind of seeing what we saw last year in the rookie year from Chase and kind of trying to project out his next year. And if he does what most wide receivers do and takes a little bit of a step forward in his second year, it's going to be scary. And as Brooke mentioned, this is a guy that said he couldn't really see the ball in the preseason and then just destroyed everybody. So I think Allen and Williams as an 8 is also very rude for whoever made this bracket. I don't know if they're in the chat or not. And so that's kind of a rude 8 seed there. And I can understand an upset, but I'm going with Chase and Higgins.
Going with Chase and Higgins. We've got 2 votes for Chase and Higgins. Before we jump in there, David, you're saying just give Chase Higgins the crown. We might see some upsets throughout this bracket. And Coop saying, can't wait to see what amazing diving catch Mike Williams gets injured on. that man puts his body on the line for every play. He is unbelievable. Josh, are you going with Chase Higgins or are you going with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams here?
I kind of almost wish I knew exactly what Simon was going to go for, because when it comes down to it, I completely think that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams deserve at least a nod here. Like they have a ton more experience, NFL experience. Mike Williams, while he's never been the most consistent guy, we all know he's one of the wide receivers that has some of the most upside in the league. He's had a lot of injury history, but he's got one of the best quarterbacks. I prefer Herbert over Joe Burrow personally. Keenan Allen's just done it year in and year out for 9 years now, 8 years. He's had some injuries earlier in his career, but I just think that both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams have proved a lot more than Chase and T. Higgins. But when it comes down to it in fantasy, if you made me choose like one of these guys, redraft for dynasty, whatever it is, I'm probably going to still lean towards Chase and Higgins, especially in dynasty. But even in redraft, I probably still lean that way. I love Keenan Allen and Mike Williams for the season. But I got to go Chase and Higgins. I got to go. I got to do it.
And it's going to be a clean sweep. I'm also going to go Chase Higgins. And what I was thinking about here is it hurts a little bit because I love Keenan Allen and Mike Williams this year. I think Keenan Allen's ADP is a little bit suppressed from where it should be because of the Mike Williams hype. So he's been one of the guys that I like drafting this season. But outside of that, if I had to pick one of these duos where both of them finished as top 12 PPR wide receivers, it's going to be Chase and Higgins. Higgins in the games that he played was on a very comparable level to Chase target wise. Like it's not a player A, like wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 situation, which I think is what it looks like on paper. I view it very much as a 1A, 1B with Tyler Boyd as that second wide receiver, that third wide receiver in that offense. I'm going to go Chase Higgins, make it a clean sweep. I'm sorry, Allen and Mike Williams.
If we just went off of Madden, this wouldn't even be close. Keenan Allen's a 91 overall. Mike Williams is 86 overall. That's almost better than Chase. Chase is disrespected in Madden. He's only an 87 overall. And then T. Higgins is only an 83 overall. Madden, give a little bit more respect to the Bengals. That's all.
Come on. And we got Coop in here saying we snubbed the Evan Ingram Grimace combo from this bracket. Yeah,
Ew.
I forgot about the Grimace signing by the Jaguars down there, but we'll have to readjust, maybe do another bracket after this.
Evan Ingram's a tight end, so I think y'all are covered.
Oh, thank God. Teddy, you saved me right there. Yeah, suck it, Coop. That's the only problem with that is that Evan Ingram is a tight end. Teddy, we're going to move on to our next matchup, and we're going to go to the Steelers reporter last on this one. But we've got the Steelers wide receivers, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, versus Cooper Kupp and new arrival to the Los Angeles Rams and recent Chicago Bears disappointment, Allen Robinson. So which one of these two duos are you going with as the better wide receiver duo? Is it DJ Claypool or is it Kupp A-Rob?
This is an interesting one because if you look at the categories in 2021 that Cooper Kupp led, you're looking at reception.
You mean all of the categories?
Exactly. Receptions, targets, yards after catch, first downs, and touchdowns. He led in all of them.
That's where you were going with that. That makes sense.
Robinson, who was out-received by Braxton Berrios, Laquan Treadwell, Nico Collins, Leonard Fournette, and DeVonta Parker. So, it's really a kind of a mixed bag there. But if there was a stat that Johnson and Claypool led in, it would be Claypool. I would almost guarantee and bet my life savings that he had more receptions that he needlessly jumped on. That man never stays on the ground. Mapletron or not, he will not catch a ball with 2 feet on the ground. But I'm going to go with Kupp and A-Rob because I still believe that Allen Robinson has talent left in the bag, and I think that he's going to be able to get it on this offense. Whereas I don't think that whoever's the starting quarterback for the Steelers is going to be a step down from Ben Roethlisberger from last year, but I don't think he has the upside to kind of provide for his wide receivers that Matthew Stafford will.
So 1 vote for Kupp A-Rob going against the Steelers receivers here. Josh, are you going to go on the Johnson Claypool side here, the Steelers side or the Rams side here?
I think that's a good point, Teddy, you made that I don't think it's necessarily a step down for whatever quarterback starts for the Steelers this year. Big Ben, his arm was pretty shot last year, but I will say he did lead these guys, especially Deontay Johnson, to some great fantasy numbers because of his quick, accurate throws. And he's a smart quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger, Hall of Famer, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So you're losing that. And I think that's the biggest thing you're losing when you're switching from Ben Roethlisberger to whoever's going to be the starter this year. I think the volume's going to be there a little bit less. I know Chase Claypool thinks he's a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. No. I mean, he's not. I mean, I love that he believes in himself. That's just not the case. Cooper Kupp, however, he just had one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a wide receiver. Him alone is, going to send me towards the Cooper Kupp A-Rob side of this question here. I love Deontay Johnson. I love Chase Claypool. Maybe Claypool's kind of close to A-Rob, but I'm still going to give A-Rob the nod there. So it's a pretty easy Kupp and Allen Robinson for me.
Man, this is a tricky one for me. And what it comes down to is like the name of this bracket is best wide receiver duos. And so whenever we're talking this, I'm trying to be quarterback agnostic whenever I'm looking at some of this, like at least for some of these things. Like obviously I'm not going to prefer whatever Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky mishmash that the Steelers throw out there over the Rams quarterback situation. It's just not comparable. But these two receivers, I think Kupp is the top of the top, but as the secondary receiver, I'm not sure how much I believe in A-Rob. I haven't fully bought in this year at cost. Sometimes if he falls in drafts, I'm fine drafting him, but I'm not certain that he's just going to step in and fulfill that like Odell Beckham style level of production that we saw at the end of last season. So on that front, Claypool, his skill set, I feel like, is very complementary to Johnson's, and Johnson is my favorite type of receiver. Those high target kind of guys, the Darnell Mooney, the Deontay Johnsons, the ones with like the safe production are my favorite type of receivers to draft in fantasy. And then Claypool's got all the upside in the world as the deep threat. I'm going to vote Johnson Claypool here. Keep it 2-1. We're going to send it to Brooke. If there is a tie, I will say this does go to the chat. There is a poll in the chat running right now, and it is heavily on one side. I won't say which one, but Brooke, we're going to come to you. It is 2-1 right now on the Kupp A-Rob side.
Maybe the Madden scores, the Madden ratings change your thoughts, but Deontay Johnson 85, Chase Claypool 78, Cooper Kupp 98, and Allen Robinson 82. I'm sure that doesn't change anything, but go ahead, Brooke. I would just want to.
It changed everything.
You know, if I was better at math, maybe it would change a lot. But I was told there would be no math in journalism, and I was wrong. Everyone lied to me. I'm going to lean toward Kupp A-Rob, and that's because I think that if everything goes right for Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, and that's a lot of ifs, they can be one of the best wide receiver duos in the league. They can be better than Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson, but I haven't seen the consistency from either one of those guys. Deontay Johnson had a Pro Bowl year until he didn't get selected for the Pro Bowl, and then he dropped off significantly in those last couple of weeks. He was incredibly inconsistent. He was the return of the drop issues that he had from the season earlier came back. And it felt like, I don't know if he got in his head about it, if something else was going on. That to me was a kind of a red flag warning sign. If he can get back on track and be consistent this year, then sure, I would feel better trusting him. Chase Claypool took a huge step back in year 2. I don't take issue. I know, Josh, you said like, oh, he said he's a top 3 receiver. He's not. No, I definitely don't think he is. But I don't take issue with him saying he is. Like, this is the time of year for hyperbole. Like, this is where everybody goes into training camp in the best shape of their lives. Everybody's a top 3, whatever at their position. You know, this is when you call your shot. But I think that I need to see maturity from Claypool to feel good about him. In both real life and fantasy, I feel the same way about picking Kupp A-Rob over Johnson Claypool. Because the other thing is the Steelers receiver room as a whole, Deontay Johnson to me is the unquestioned 1, but I think 2 is going to be spread out. I'm interested to see how much work George Pickens gets. Mm-hmm. Calvin Austin is a very intriguing name.
He's electric, Calvin Austin.
To me, Calvin Austin is the secret weapon in the Steelers offense. I don't know that I would draft him right now, but I'd keep an eye on the waiver wire for later in the season because I think that he's going to be a secret weapon. But yeah, I just think that Cooper Kupp is good enough to it doesn't matter what duo you put up next to Cooper Kupp. He's good. I'm picking that one every single time.
It could be Kupp Grimace, and that one's moving on.
Exactly. It could be Kupp Pryor, and I would still pick that one.
The Steelers lost their real secret weapon, Mr. Ray McLeod, Clemson receiver Ray, all gone. I was as a non-Steelers fan, I was thrilled that I didn't have to cheer for him every time he touched the ball on the field anymore. But that's the real secret weapon.
I mean, you're right. As I was going through the naming it, I just wanted to say Ray because that is what it's been the last couple years, and now that I've finally gotten comfortable saying Ray McLeod, no, they didn't bring him back. So I'm sorry. Well, I guess I'm happy for you that you don't have to be torn up inside emotionally every week.
Well, the chat agreed with us on this one. Kupp A-Rob won 79% of the vote in the chat. So fairly close to our breakdown right here as well. 1 vote going towards Johnson Claypool, a couple over on the Kupp A-Rob side. We're going to move on to our next matchup. And Josh, you've got the first vote here.
By far the toughest one, yeah.
This one is fun. Yeah, I was looking at this one. This one hurts a little bit. You've got the Dolphins duo, the new duo down there, Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle versus the Vikings duo, Jefferson and old man touchdown Thielen. Where are you going? Is it going to be the Dolphins or the Vikings, Josh?
Well, real fast, just Madden ratings. If we're just looking at those and you add their Madden ratings together, it is tied, guys. It is
no
tied.
Way.
Tyreek Hill would be 97, Jaylen Waddle 84, Justin Jefferson 93, which is 4 less than 97, but Adam Thielen's 4 more than Waddle with a rating of 88. So when you add their ratings together, this would be a tied thing according to Madden. We don't care about that. I'm just using that as more or less a joke. But when it comes down to it, Justin Jefferson, I projected to be, wide receiver 7 before he got hurt. And I have Adam Thielen, and I project him to be healthy 17 games. I don't know if that's going to happen. That's just how my projections work at, but I project Adam Thielen to be the wide receiver 21, which is pretty high. It's higher than he's getting drafted right now, I'll tell you that much. And then you have Justin Jefferson. I have wide receiver 2. I love Tyreek Hill and I love Jaylen Waddle. I think they're uber talented, but believe it or not, I actually trust Kirk Cousins getting these guys the ball, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, more than Tua. I like Tua. I think he has a lot of upside, but yeah, Kirk Cousins. I guess I'm a Kirk Cousins guy. I don't know, but I trust Kirk Cousins. I trust the Vikings offense just a little bit more. And this is so close. That's going to kind of be the nudge for me. So in terms of total fantasy points, in terms of a better offense that I'm more comfortable with, I'm going to go with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen here.
One vote there, and the chat is already going at each other. Sorry, go ahead, Brooke.
You're the first person I think I've ever heard confidently say, I trust Kirk Cousins.
Don't clip that. No, I don't want to be that guy.
I think this is your hill to die on now.
No.
That is the most confidence I've ever heard in Kirk Cousins.
Josh is a Kirk Cousins guy,
but he can get he has shown time and time again he can get the ball to. Can he win games? Can he win games in the clutch? No. He's not very good at that.
Sure can't.
But he's good at getting the weapons the ball. So in terms of talent, it's so close. So.
We got Dave in here saying Tyreek Waddle just because I don't believe in Thielen, and then Coop saying fight me in real life, Dave. They're going at each other down there.
I got to say one more thing. Adam Thielen's ability to get open and wide open in the red zone is unique and it's special. It's not just he's getting lucky. He is a special kind of talent, especially in the red zone. So I'll finish with that.
And this one's tough for me, and it's really fun to. On the Thielen side, like at least for me, we love the younger players, right? The breakouts. It's fun to talk about the next big thing. And it's fun to go down the thought process like, is this the year KJ Osborne maybe steps up and takes over as that second receiver in this offense? But I don't believe it. I like Thielen's play style. Josh, you mentioned it. His ability to get open in the end zone isn't something that I think is going to be like rapidly declining like we may see with some of these speed guys. He's a kind of receiver with a skill set. I think he can continue to play for a couple more years. That being said, if we look at these receivers right here, Hill, Jefferson, comparable from a talent perspective. Like that's a wash. You make me pick one of those guys from a talent perspective, I'm probably flipping a coin unless we're taking age into account on that front. Waddle Thielen is interesting, and I do think Waddle is the more talented of the two receivers. Now, from like a fantasy production standpoint, I don't know what that's going to mean for this season in that Dolphins offense. There's a lot of question marks with Tua. Can he take that step forward?
Set the rookie record for catches last year.
It's insane. Is Tyreek Hill but then you have a true alpha in Tyreek Hill coming into this offense. What's that going to mean for Jaylen Waddle? Can they support both of these guys? But if I'm looking at this from a talent perspective, I'm going to go Hill Waddle here. It's close in my mind, but Waddle is give me Waddle over Thielen in most formats. In redraft and dynasty, I'll take Waddle over Thielen, and then Jefferson I would take out of Hill, but they're in a similar tier. They're in a similar tier talent wise. Brooke, we're coming to you. There's one vote on each side. Where's your vote going to go?
Well, I really like what you said, Simon, about that Tyreek is an alpha guy. Can this offense handle both of them? Can a locker room handle that personality coming in and meshing with the other guys? I'm really interested to see how that plays out in real life. But I think that the Hill Waddle combo can be a big boom or bust situation, like because of the skill sets meshing, the personalities meshing, all of that. But if we're taking into account, I really like what Jordan said in the chat, that if he's a Mike McDaniel guy, and if you aren't, you're dead to me. I am a Mike McDaniel gal. I really like what he brings to Miami. I like what Miami has going on right now. I think they've got a lot of swag. I mean, if nobody is winning the offseason more right now than Tyreek Hill, or maybe nobody's winning it more than Tua because of Tyreek Hill, because he has pumped his guy up.
Point. Yeah.
Right? Over and over and over again. I don't know that I believe it, but I like the confidence that he's injecting into this Dolphins offense.
Well, you believe Claypool? He's a top 3 receiver then. I'm joking. In one circumstance, one guy's talking about another guy and one's talking about himself. So
right, exactly. And I think I'm going to go Hill Waddle because I like the potential. I like the excitement, Jefferson, Thielen, it's a tough call for me, but I like Justin Jefferson's gritty. So he could get like half a point for that. But
that almost won it for him. That almost won it for him.
Almost.
But the Waddle.
It was
the Waddle
so
dance.
close. But there's the Waddle, there's the backflip, there's the cheetah peace sign. Like if I was voting on this purely on touchdown celebrations, I definitely have to go Hill Waddle. So like it's all coming up Dolphins for me.
All coming up Dolphins. That's going to be 2 votes for Hill, Waddle, and Jordan. Like you mentioned, saying if you're not a Mike McDaniel guy, I probably once every other week just watch a compilation of him in press conferences. Like he just brings me joy. I just love watching him talk as a football coach. Sometimes it seems like, well, here I am, and I'm going to do this confidently. Like he just kind of fell back there, but he's unbelievably talented. That's just the vibe he gives off. He's so casual. He's so humble up there. But with that confidence, he's fun to watch. Teddy, you've got the last vote in this one. You're going to determine whether this is going to go to the chat in a tiebreaker or if we're sending Hill and Waddle on to the next round.
So it's going to go to the chat, and I'll tell you why. And here's why. Have you ever lied about had to lied about something and then had to try to tell people it was true? No, I know you haven't, Josh. This is for you. Have you ever lied about something and had to try to convince people that it was true? Yeah, I feel like the amount of times that Tyreek is telling us that Tua is accurate is concerning to this point. And I'm just saying, and I know Jordan's going to hate me for this take, but that's fine. You're leaving a team with a quarterback that would throw with his left hand and that would throw across his body without looking at the receiver. And you want to tell me that Tua is more accurate than that guy? No. And so I think that when it comes to the 4 wide receivers that we're dealing with, Simon, you're talking about taking the quarterback out of it, which I'm not going to because I don't want to. But totally if you're looking at
I had to do that personally just to separate these guys somehow.
But if you're looking at the 4, I think Jefferson is the actual most talented wide receiver of the group, with Waddle second, because I don't know what Hill has other than his speed. And when he has a quarterback that isn't going to be able to accurately hit him in stride as much as he wants in game, I don't know how it's going to go. And so for me, when I'm thinking about that, I'm going to go with Jefferson Thielen, and we're going to send it to the chat to see.
I will tell
chat. How that goes.
The chat, there are 15 votes in this poll. It is very close, but with 53% to 47%. Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle are moving on to the next round. Oh, suck it, Teddy and Josh.
Usually when I vote on someone, I'm like, I really want them to win, but like there's certain ones that are so close where I'm like, this is fine. This is fine. Go the other.
Yeah, Josh trying to save face now. He's like, that's what I wanted anyways.
That was the toughest one of the first round for sure, in my opinion.
He saw me and Brooke celebrate. He's like, I want to be a part of it. He's like, I want to be part of that.
I knew that was going to happen the whole time, man. I just,
We're on to our last matchup of the first round, and I'm not even going to talk for very long on this one. It's Evans Godwin. Evans is the most talented receiver out of all 4 up here, and I don't think it's particularly close. And Godwin might be number 2 based on what we've seen. Metcalf took huge steps backwards. He's got his athletic ability. He's an incredible receiver from what we saw, but I was really concerned with what we saw last season. So I'm going to go Evans Godwin, and this one's not very close for me. This one was easy. Brooke, we're going to go on to you. Is it going to be the Buccaneers receivers, Evans Godwin, or the Seahawks receivers, Metcalf and Lockett?
I'm with you. I am Evans Godwin all the way. Mike Evans has never had less than 1,000 receiving yards in a season. He is Mr. Consistency, I was going to say accuracy because I was so caught up thinking about the Tua conversation a second ago that now accuracy is just burned in my brain. But he's Mr. Consistency. He's Mr. Available. I know Chris Godwin right now is starting out the year injured, but I am going to factor quarterbacks into this in both fantasy and real life. And, call me crazy, but I'm giving Tom Brady the edge over Drew Lock. I don't know what's wrong with Geno
Smith?
That's weird.
Oh, God, you're right. Well, that really changes things.
Yeah, if it's Geno Smith, it's a little closer.
I might even go Kyle Trask over Geno Smith and Drew Lock. No, I'm just kidding. It's still Tom Brady. And it's Evans Godwin.
Evans Godwin with 2 votes. And I just need to address there's a controversy going down. I thought I ended the poll at 15 votes, but there was a 16th vote cast, making a 50-50 split in that last poll. But how we have settled that in the past is tie goes to the guest. Teddy, since you've been on here previously, Brooke is more of the guest. So tie will go to Brooke. She voted Hill Waddle. Results are going to stay the same.
Let's go.
That's how we're running with it. We've got 2 votes on the Evans Godwin side right here. Now, Teddy, we're coming to you. Is it going to be Metcalf, Lockett, or Evans Godwin?
So as I've said this whole time, you can't consider quarterback. And so I'm just kidding. That was completely up. So no, it's Evans Godwin. We don't need to do that long. It's Evans Godwin.
Evans Godwin. Josh, are you making this a sweep, or are you going the other way?
Evans Godwin for me as well. Madden also says that Evans 92, Godwin 89, Metcalf 89, Lockett 90. Lockett's above Metcalf. I think I'm going to talk about quarterback real fast. That we've only seen both Lockett and Metcalf with Russell Wilson. We've actually seen both Godwin and Mike Evans be very successful with Jameis Winston before Tom Brady. So they just proved it a lot more to me that both of them, I think I would rank above Metcalf and Lockett. So yeah, easy pick for me there.
Easy pick, and that's going to move them on to the next round. We're on to our first semifinal matchup, and Brooke, that means we are coming back to you for this one. It is Chase Higgins, our 1 seed, versus Kupp A-Rob. Where's your vote going?
Well, I know that just a round ago I said that I would vote Cooper Kupp over literally everyone.
Not literally.
Now I'm going to walk that right on back, and I'm going Chase Higgins because these two guys, yes, they're young, and Cooper Kupp has more experience than both of them combined. I still like their upside more, and I think in tandem, the two of them together might be better than Kupp, and I think they're definitely better than Kupp and A-Rob.
So 1 vote for Chase Higgins. This is a tough one. Teddy, are you agreeing with Brooke, or are you going on the Kupp A-Rob side?
Yeah, I don't even remember what I said last round, so let's not. I'm not officially walking it back, but I'm probably going to contradict myself. I'm going to go Chase Higgins as well. It's clear for me. Just when you're thinking about, as you mentioned, Simon, earlier, like I'm gonna kind of cheat here and say, really kind of focusing in on the duo. They're the better duo.
2 votes for them. Josh, are you agreeing with these two, or are you going on the Kupp A-Rob side? I know you like A-Rob this year.
I love A-Rob. I he's my wide receiver 24 for this upcoming season. I really think he is talented, but when we saw him last year, he did not look very good, and that's really the biggest problem in my mind. I think this is actually really close, and now that I'm seeing Chase and Higgins getting 2 votes, I just quickly I took my projections where I project them fantasy points wise, and I added them both together, and believe Kupp and A-Rob are slightly higher with 554 to 541 fantasy points. So I'm going with Kupp and A-Rob. Kupp is my wide receiver 100%. I would absolutely rather have him Chase Higgins. I'd rather have than A-Rob, but it's close. I'm going to go Kupp and A-Rob.
I don't hate that, Josh, but I'm going to end this. It's not going to the chat. It's Chase Higgins for me. Earlier, I said which pair would be more likely to have both finish as a top 12 wide receiver. That's not only, I think, more likely for Chase and Higgins, it's what I have projected. Like I have both of those guys in my top 12 wide receivers for the season based on what this Bengals offense I think is going to look like. So I'm in on these two guys. A-Rob I have as a high-end wide receiver 3. Kupp obviously is my number 1 overall wide receiver going into this season. But I'll take 2 wide receiver 1s, my 3 and my 10 versus my 1 and my 28, right? So I'm going to go Chase Higgins on this front, and they're going to move on to our championship round. Teddy, we're starting with you on our next semifinal. And this, we thought that last Hill Waddle one was tough, but I think this one's might be even tougher. We've got Hill Waddle versus Evans Godwin. Where's your vote going, Teddy?
Well, let's see. One group I voted for, one I didn't. So I'm actually going to make this one a little easier. It's Evans Godwin for me, mainly because if Tom Brady wasn't back, I think we have a very different conversation. But with the established presence of Brady and the consistency of both of these guys, even if Godwin's banged up beginning of the year, I'm going to go with the sure thing over than, overseeing how accurate Tua actually is.
Yep. 2 votes that's 1 vote. I just revealed my vote, Teddy. If that wasn't aware, I forgot I hadn't voted yet. 1 vote for Evans Godwin, and we don't know anybody else's vote yet. Josh, are you going Hill Waddle or Evans Godwin?
Hey, Madden ratings, when you add both of these duos, they're the same. They're the same. They have the same Madden rating when you add them together because Hill himself is a 97 compared to Evans being 92. When I break this down, I think Evans and Hill are relatively close in terms of overall talent. Hill's much more explosive. He finds himself in a new situation. So I'm actually, let's say they're even. Waddle, I love what he did his rookie year, but Godwin's just proved it over a longer span. I would rather have Godwin over Waddle. I'm going to go that side.
Yep, and I revealed my vote. It's going to be Evans Godwin as well. Evans, there's hardly any safer bet this year than Mike Evans. And I say this year, I mean every year. He's going to hit 1,000 yards, and he's one of the safest bets for double-digit touchdowns in the league. And then Godwin, when he plays, he's established some of that trust in the role that he plays in this offense. I know he's injured, but if we're just looking at best wide receiver duos, I'm scared of this Evans Godwin duo if I'm going up against them. So I'm going to vote there. Brooke, it's been decided, but we still have another vote. Are you voting for Hill Waddle or are you voting for Evans Godwin?
I'm going Evans Godwin. I agree with everything that's been said, and especially going back to last round, the point that Evans and Godwin have succeeded without Tom Brady. I haven't seen Tyreek succeed without Patrick Mahomes yet. Kind of like Teddy said, that he is pumping Tua up a lot. So is that a good thing, a bad thing? I don't know, but I think Evans Godwin is the easy choice here.
Evans Godwin, which means we have our championship matchup. We had the bracket of upsets last week, but this is scratch. We got the 1 seed versus the 2 seed in our finals. And Josh, you've got the first vote here. Is it going to be Chase Higgins or Evans Godwin as the champion of this bracket? It
feels like I've been the anti-Chase Higgins guy this whole time. I almost voted for Keenan Allen and Mike Williams the first round. Couldn't do it, but I did vote against Jason Higgins last round. I'm going to do it again here. I would rather have Evans and Godwin on my team. I think they're just more complete receivers. And if Godwin was projected to play all 17 games, which I'm not doing right now just because I do think he misses a few games at the beginning of the season, they would be higher than both these guys combined. So I'm going to take Evans Godwin.
This is super tough for me because, Josh, I agree with you. The point I've been making about Chase and Higgins, they're both top 12 kind of guys for me. If Godwin was projected to play 17 games, Evans Godwin would be another duo. It would be hard to put 2 duos in the top 12, but I would have 4 of my spots taken up by wide receivers on these 2 teams in those top 12 receivers. That being said, I hate to use that as a tiebreaker, but like these guys are so close in my mind. You average it out that we're not going to get 17 games from Godwin this year. And we don't know if that injury is going to affect him even after he comes back. Maybe he comes back after 4 weeks, but he's a little bit slow getting started. Chase Higgins, I expect to hit the ground running from week 1. And I hate to use that as a tiebreaker, but these guys are neck and neck in my eyes. So it's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to vote Chase Higgins. Brooke, we're coming to you. Is it going to be Chase Higgins or Evans Godwin? We've got 1 vote each way. Well,
the thing that popped in my head was age before beauty. So I'm going the older duo in Evans Godwin over the beautiful duo of Chase Higgins. Beautiful, not necessarily in their looks, but sure, I guess that too.
Also in their
good-looking guys, yeah.
He's a handsome style.
Man. But beauty on the field maybe also. But I think that Mike Evans' consistency counteracts Chris Godwin's injury this year. And for me to go with Chase and Higgins over a duo that we've said has proven themselves time and again with different quarterbacks, I would need more than a 2-year sample size from T. Higgins, more than a 1-year sample size from Jamar Chase. I don't think he's going to have a massive drop off by any means in both real life and fantasy, but I still need to see it replicated. I need to see it proven that it wasn't just a flash in the pan season. I need to see him continue to build on last year and not have a Chase Claypool-like regression. The 2 guys underneath them in the 2nd seed, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, have already proven that they are more than their first couple seasons. So that's why I'm going with them.
I don't hate it. I hate to quote Josh, but I'm not going to be mad if Evans Godwin win this, even though I voted the other way. Teddy, you're going to determine here, though, if this is going to go to the chat or if Evans Godwin are going to be the champion of our bracket.
Yeah, and so obviously, I got to pause to give props to Brooke because she's currently covering breaking news at the moment with Trey Edmonds getting released. So she did all of that with answering and is on Twitter breaking news. So she's a rock star, and I'm biased in making sure that I'm gonna be happy sleeping in my house. So for me, we're not going to the chat this time. It's going to be Evans Godwin, and I'll tell you why. And it's going to be a very biased answer. When we're looking at this Bucs offense, Bengals offense, we'll start there. It's Chase, Higgins, Boyd, I'm about the biggest Hayden Hurst fan you can find because he went to South Carolina. So that's, 4 kind of pretty big mouths to feed. If you're looking at the Bucs offense without Gronkowski, I don't care if you're trying to tell me that Kyle Rudy Poo Rudolph is going to be the Gronk role. Sure, that's fine. But it's going to be those two guys getting all the action. So I'm going with those two for Evans and Godwin as the ones that are going to have the best year this year.
Well, and Evans, Godwin are going to win because of that. And I will tell you, the chat was so heavily on the other side. It was 79%. Wow. So, Teddy, if you would have voted the other way, Chase Higgins would have won with the tiebreaker from the chat vote. But Evans, Godwin is the winner of our best wide receiver duo bracket. And Dave, my man, shout out to Toronto, Dave. The Canadian money just hits different, Dave. I can feel it in my blood. It's like a cold stream of maple syrup running through me every time that Canadian money comes in. I love it, Dave. I live for it. Guys, we're going to pull up our next bracket, and I know this is the one that everyone's here for. They could care less about my.
We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. Hands are gonna be thrown.
We're going restaurant style. We thought about doing specific menu items. We're gonna be talking restaurants as a whole. So you can talk about anything on that menu, whatever you like from it. And the restaurants we're gonna be talking about, we've got McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, Bojangles, White Castle, Burger King, Whataburger, and Sonic as our options. Let's go ahead and jump straight into this. And Brooke, we're going to start with you. The first matchup is McDonald's versus Sonic. Which one of these do you prefer for your breakfast?
Oh, Teddy already heard me go off about this earlier. I'm going to start with an upset. It's Sonic for me because McDonald's, when I see it in the airport, like I'm judging this based on two things. What makes me overall happiest and what line will I stand in the airport for breakfast food? I will absolutely McDonald's is a worst case scenario breakfast food in the airport for me. Like, I don't know, an Egg McMuffin's an Egg McMuffin. I can make it at home with less salt and fat and everything else. A Sonic breakfast burrito, though, you can get it in multiple different ways. You can get it with sausage. You can get it with bacon. You can get the loaded one with tots. And the salsa that comes with it is great. Plus, the Green Mountain iced coffee they give in the giant super cup. And you can eat it sitting in your car.
That's actually maybe enough to, the coffee. I didn't think about the coffee factor yet.
Listen, it's Sonic for me, 10 out of 10 every single time. I see Dustin saying that McDonald's hash browns are the best, though. Toronto Dave also says they go crazy. Yes, but try a Sonic breakfast burrito.
And,
they have hash browns in the burrito, right?
Yes, they do. You get tater tots for breakfast.
Yeah.
There you go. Brooke adjusting her camera because she's ready to fight and Coop. And you're saying, McGriddle or we burn this MFer down. Brooke, I swear I will unsubscribe with the Sonic over McDonald's take. But we've got one vote towards the 8 seed over the behemoth McDonald's. Teddy, are you agreeing with Brooke here? Are you on the Sonic side or are you going McDonald's?
So here's the thing. We lived in Oklahoma for about 3 years, and Sonic was founded in Oklahoma, and we live basically within 5 minutes of their headquarters, so we had Sonic constantly. I will say that McDonald's breakfast is going to win for me, and I know that it's going to upset my wife, but that's okay. And here's why, is because she shouted out the Sonic breakfast burrito. That's about where their breakfast ends, as far as relevant options to me.
Do you need anything else?
Yes, and it's called a McGriddle, because they take okay.
Yep.
Here's where I'm just going to win this debate. You take a pancake, you infuse it with syrup, and then you use those as the top and bottom part of a biscuit and eat whatever you want between it. It's the most ingenious thing of all time. And it's delicious, and McDonald's wins because of it.
Another vote or one vote for McDonald's. And we got Scott in here disagreeing with you, Brooke, saying, Brooke, I disagree. McDonald's isn't a worst case scenario. I'd rather not eat for a 13-hour flight, stomach angry with me for a 13-hour flight, surviving off the in-flight meal. That's even better than McDonald's. It won't even go there for worst case scenario. Josh, it is 1-1. Scott clearly hates McDonald's. Coop is in here, hyped about his take. Where are you going right there? And Scott said, Brooke greater than Teddy. Josh.
He knew that, though.
McDonald's or Sonic?
The McGriddle's a classic. Teddy said it right. It's a class. I actually like the McDonald's for some reason. I kind of grew up on their pancake platter with the little sausage. I don't know. I don't like it as much now, but that McGriddle, I can eat that anytime. I love a good McGriddle from McDonald's. It's McDonald's for me. Sonic's good. McDonald's and the hash browns are great too. People keep mentioning it. They are very tasty. Sorry.
That's another vote for McDonald's. And I just want to preface this. I took major offense to something Teddy said about Sonic, but my vote is going to go towards McDonald's because of the hash browns. The hash browns dipped in syrup. I don't know if you've ever tried it. Load that hash brown up with salt, cover it in syrup. It's like heaven. But you said there was nothing besides the burrito on there. Sonic is one of only 2 places I know that has what should be a staple on every breakfast fast food menu, and that is French toast sticks. French toast sticks are an elite breakfast item. They don't do them the best. There's another place on here that does them better that I will mention, but like that alone should put them in this conversation. You disrespected Sonic by saying only their burritos were good. You don't like French toast sticks?
I've never had their French toast sticks. I didn't know they had them.
You know what? He just revised his vote probably. Because of the French toast stick potential.
Wait a second. You didn't say there's French toast sticks.
McDonald's is going to move on, though. And Teddy, you have the first vote in this next one. This is White Cat. Oh.
It's, y'all, so we live in Pittsburgh, and we're from North Carolina, where there's Bojangles, and it's the land of much happier people because of that. But we literally plan our drive to home to try to hit the northernmost Bojangles and Cookout on the way down. We don't even have to do this for breakfast food. Fast food, Bojangles is going to be up there as a top seed. It is amazing. I don't care. I don't care how this poll goes. It's incredible. We went to a wedding on Saturday night. They gave everybody Bojangles at the very end as we were leaving. You've never seen a happier group of drunk people.
1 vote for Bojangles. Jay in here saying if Bojangles loses to White Castle, I will log in and shut down this stream. So no pressure. Are you voting White Castle or Bojangles?
Now, I don't want to lead too much into the next one, but to be completely honest, like neither of these are going to be my primary go-to for fast food breakfast. I like Bojangles. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I really haven't. I didn't even know White Castle had breakfast, to be honest with you.
I will say they have, if it helps, if you like a McGriddle, White Castle does something similar, but with waffles instead of pancakes on their sliders. So it is a similar thing. But
this is Bojangles. I don't even like White Castle, period. So it really doesn't matter. It 1000% Bojangles for me.
Honest to God, the number one worst thing about leaving the Southeast is that I don't get Bojangles here in Texas. Like I don't think there's a single thing worse. Yeah, we got In-N-Out, but you know what? In-N-Out sucks. It's overrated. All of you In-N-Out truthers, like you can get off my lawn. The average burgers, soggy fries. It's not good. Give me Bojangles over In-N-Out.
I'm an In-N-Out truther.
I was hoping no one on stream was, I would just piss off the chat because I know people love In-N-Out, the people that do love it. But give me Bojangles over it any day.
Speaking of airport, last time I was in airport, I had In-N-Out, and I actually really liked it.
Wait, what airport is there an In-N-Out in?
I think it was a layover in Texas.
What? I would check out. We have In-N-Out here, but not at the San Antonio airport, that's for sure. That being said, a Cajun filet chicken biscuit with some potato rounds and a bowberry biscuit, like mess me up on that Sunday after game day. Like we've been drinking all day at a Clemson game. We go to bed, we wake up around 10, 11, and everyone hops in the car and heads to Bojangles with everyone else at the university because that's the best breakfast available. That's all you can have the next day. It's Bojangles. It's a memory. It's delicious. It's everything. It's so good. And when Clemson scores enough points in a game, they come over the intercom and they go, you know what that means? It's bow time. And everyone gets a free sweet tea or picnic fries. Brooke, are you going with White Castle or Bojangles? It's 3-0 right now.
I mean, I think you guys know. There's no secret here. I think I have Bojangles in my Twitter bio.
She talked about it on Get Up the other day during her prior knowledge segment.
I sure did, because the tee-up was, Brooke, what's going on in Carolina? And I forgot that I was going to start talking about Baker Mayfield, and I said, Bojangles is going on in Carolina. Also Baker Mayfield, because apparently that's just what happens when my mind blanks as I go straight to the biscuits. Fun fact about me, though, I did not have Bojangles until I went to college. Like my family was a Subway family on road trips.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
I know it's a tough existence. I lived it. Sometimes we got treats and went to
We were
Taco
Pizza
Bell
Hut.
with my right. We went to Taco Bell for my sister. I didn't used to like Taco Bell. I've since changed my tune. Or we went to Wendy's for my mom, but never a Bojangles. When I was in college, though, frequent attender of the Bojangles in Durham on 15501. Went as often as I could on the weekends. Like Simon said, great place to go after a Saturday game day. You go Sunday morning, everyone's hungover, you get refueled, life has been brought back in you. But I just want to let everyone know, okay, that is horrifying.
Literally how?
Yeah, Alex saying he's lived in North Carolina for 6 years and never had Bojangles. That's incredible. That's
we took like a 5-day trip and had it 3 times once.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is what I'm going to end on, is that Teddy is very dedicated to Bojangles, and I think he knows what's coming because he brought up his error earlier.
We'll see. I love this comment from Coop, and you said Bo-Berry Biscuit sounds like a cornerback that would play for Clemson. Oh my God, that's awesome!
Yes,
I need to get a jersey that says Bo-Berry Biscuit on it or something like that.
Oh,
guys, we're going to move on to our
absolutely.
next matchup. It is Taco Bell versus Burger King, and Josh, you've got the first vote here.
Talk about French toast sticks. I've had
Yes.
Burger King's French toast sticks. That was my go-to for a while. I've seen a lot of advertisements for Taco Bell's breakfast, but I've actually never had it. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, and also to be completely honest with you, it doesn't sound that great. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe someone here can speak to it. But I've had Burger King breakfast many times. It's satisfying. It gets you by on those, road trips or whatnot. I'm gonna go with Burger King here.
One vote for Burger King, and this one's really tough for me. This is probably the toughest one because what Taco Bell's doing with breakfast is innovative, and I love an innovator. You're telling me you're going to put bacon, eggs, and hash brown inside of a Crunchwrap Supreme, which is one of my favorite things in the world. Like, I'm in all day long. But I think Burger King is the most underrated breakfast in the fast food game. I think Burger King, I don't love their lunch. I don't love their regular menu, but their breakfast is so good. Their French toast sticks are phenomenal. Oh my gosh, they just absolutely kill it. And then their little hash brown circles, they're comparable with those. Like, they're the same shape as the Chick-fil-A ones, but they're crispier and they're fluffier on the inside, and they're so good. My vote's going to be for Burger King, but shout out Taco Bell. You guys are doing great work over there. Brooke, it is 2-0 right now on the Burger King side. Are you going with Taco Bell or Burger King? I need to put this one in the chat.
I'm going with Taco Bell because I've never had Burger King breakfast, but after listening to that description, I really feel like I've missed out. And there's a Burger King like not half a mile from us, so I think I know where we're going to go next time we don't want to make breakfast at home. But I mean, I have to go Taco Bell, because I've had it and I love a Crunchwrap Supreme. So I definitely love a breakfast Crunchwrap Supreme. But I also love breakfast tacos. And that's like the closest thing I'm going to get to a breakfast taco in the morning. So yeah, give me Bojangles. Or give me Bojangles. That's where my brain goes. Give me Taco Bell.
Bojangles.
Brooke, I guess you brought up another point. Probably the reason I never eat Taco Bell breakfast really is because I live in San Antonio, which is like the breakfast taco capital of the United States. Like I can hardly like throw a rock without hitting a breakfast taco stand here. So might be silly to go get that over there. Oh yeah, and they're so good. They're delicious. I'm just kidding. Teddy, it is 2-1 right now. Are you going with Burger King or Taco Bell?
Taco Bell, because I didn't know Burger King had breakfast. So it's definitely Taco Bell for me. It's amazing for all the reasons that you said. With the innovative and the Cinnabon delights are already amazing. We're not going to go to the Burger King near us because I don't want breakfast with a side of Stabbage. So it's a very sketchy Burger King, and we're not going to hit that up tomorrow.
Hey,
but
sometimes the sketchiest fast food places have the best food. Sometimes that's the key. That's the secret.
No, that's the key to finding good sesame chicken. That's different.
You're right. Guys, this is a tie, which means it's going to go to the chat. We've got 14 votes in the chat, and it is not super close. Burger King wins with 64% of the vote and moves on to the next round over Taco Bell. So far, we made Brooke and Teddy very happy, I think, with the Bojangles. And then I pissed them off with Taco Bell getting kicked off for Burger King. But we'll see what happens after this. Our next matchup, our 7 versus 2, is Whataburger versus Chick-fil-A. And I have the first vote here. And if you've never had a Whataburger, let me back up because it's a tongue twister. A Whataburger honey butter chicken biscuit is about as good as a breakfast item gets. Like if we're just talking individual breakfast items, that might be my 101 on this bracket is the Whataburger honey butter chicken biscuit. It is like words can't even describe how good it is. You load it up with some salt and some hot sauce too, with that sweetness from the honey. Like it's just so delicious. Chick-fil-A is good, but it doesn't hold a candle to that HBCB. Had to get the initials right there. I'm voting for Whataburger. Brooke, where are you going? Whataburger or Chick-fil-A?
I have had a Whataburger honey butter chicken biscuit, but the only time I've ever had it, it was a late night situation, and it was great late night. I have to go Chick-fil-A though, because I am a savory breakfast person, and adding egg and cheese to a honey butter chicken biscuit just does not sound good to me with the syrup. So the Chick-fil-A chicken, egg, and cheese, that I will wait in a line for at the airport. And there's also weirdly never a line at the Chick-fil-A Pittsburgh airport. I hope there's not one now, but everybody's in line for the McDonald's. I go to the Chick-fil-A, I get my biscuit, I eat it, I'm thrilled.
I bet they serve more breakfast at that Chick-fil-A than the McDonald's does. It's just Chick-fil-A, there's efficient. No place in the world that runs more efficiently than a Chick-fil-A drive-thru.
I will say every Chick-fil-A near me, there's a line like out the drive-thru. You're waiting to get some Chick-fil-A around here.
The vote is 1-1 though. Teddy, where are you going on this one?
I'm going to go with Chick-fil-A, mainly because chicken minis are amazing. The only knock that I will hear about Chick-fil-A breakfast, not how long it takes, because go inside, you'll get through much faster, is...
Oh, we see that.
Is that it is expensive for the amount of food I want. But other than that, Chick-fil-A takes it.
I'm with you. I need 2 full biscuits and some hash browns to be happy at Chick-fil-A right there. Josh, it is 2-1 right now. Is this going to the chat or is this one over?
I'm going to be honest with you, Simon. What you described from Whataburger, I have never had, but it sounds like my perfect sandwich, honestly. It sounded freaking delicious. I've never had it, unfortunately. I've never had Whataburger breakfast. I love Chick-fil-A breakfast. The chicken minis. You get that honey on those too, you get a little honey. They have a good breakfast options.
Well, I'm guessing Chick-fil-A is your vote, Josh, because you've never had Whataburger. Chick-fil-A moving on to the next round, which means, Brooke, we're back to you in our semifinal matchup. Battle of the big guys right here. Some of the ones that we have loved the most so far in this bracket. We've got McDonald's versus Bojangles. Brooke, where's your vote going? I think I have an idea, but I want to hear it. It needs to be official.
I mean, I'm sure this is going to come as a shock, but it's Bojangles for me. In fact, I don't know if you can see it, but there is a Bojangles biscuit pillow sitting in the white chair over yonder. So we are committed to the brand, and I would never disrespect them by choosing McDonald's over Bojangles.
1 vote for Bojangles. And I see Marty in here asking, what are chicken minis? It's a chicken nugget inside of a little sweet bun, a tiny little bun. Imagine a bun about the size of a chicken nugget. There's your chicken mini. Teddy, it is 1-0 in favor of Bojangles right now. Where's your vote going?
It's going to Bojangles, and we can move on.
Joshua, Bojangles or McDonald's?
I kind of feel bad about this, but McDonald's, it's McDonald's for me. That's like my go-to fast food breakfast place. McGriddles, guys. That's all we got to say. McGriddle. We said it before. McGriddle.
I'm gonna bring up something that I didn't even bring up the first time. The more I think about Bojangles, the better it gets. They have Cheerwine. There's not another fast food place where I can drink 40 cups of Cheerwine and leave with like a sugar coma. That's like the highest sugar soda in existence, and it is so good with that breakfast. Cheerwine's the bomb. Bojangles for me. And Bojangles is going to move on to the finals.
Mistakes were made.
And Coop said, I can't believe Josh is our hero.
Every time on brackets, I'm the only one that's ever logical in this thing,
We've got our next matchup, though. It is Burger King versus Chick-fil-A. Teddy, you've got the first vote on this one. Where are you going?
Chick-fil-A. This is just going to be Chick-fil-A with chicken minis. I know that sounds super basic, that it's a sweet bun with chicken nuggets, but you just have to try it. It's amazing.
1 vote for Chick-fil-A. Josh, what about you?
Chicken minis are so tasty, but it's more than just chicken minis. They got a lot of pretty good breakfast options at Chick-fil-A. I like Burger King. I like the French toast sticks, but again, speaking of Chick-fil-A, their hash browns are very similar to Burger King's. So like what Burger King had kind of like thriving there, Chick-fil-A is the winner. Easy winner here. Let's go, Josh. Let's go, Andrew. Grimace gang all day.
I'm sticking to my guns. Burger King is like a top tier breakfast option. Like it's not a second option. It's one that I seek out if I'm looking for fast food breakfast. And the number 101 item on there is their French toast sticks. They kill breakfast French toast sticks. They're so good. They got the crunch, but then they're soft and fluffy on the inside. I'm going Burger King right here. Brooke, that's going to send it to you. It is currently 2-1 in favor of Chick-fil-A. You can either send this to the chat or send Chick-fil-A on to the finals to face off against Bojangles. Oh, you are muted.
It happens so well.
Hey, we all got to do it once, you know?
But I'm going to send Chick-fil-A to the finals because if their hash browns are comparable to Burger King, even if Burger King's hash browns are a little bit better, does Burger King have Chick-fil-A sauce? No, they don't. And I can dip my hash browns in the Chick-fil-A sauce. I can also dip my biscuit in the Chick-fil-A sauce. So the sauce gives it to Chick-fil-A.
You bring up a great point. I do love dipping my Chick-fil-A hash browns in their buffalo sauce. It is just top tier. Do you guys put I'll bring it up in the next round. We got the matchup. It is the battle of chicken breakfast options. The chickens made it to the finals. Bojangles versus Chick-fil-A. And Josh, I believe you have the first vote on our finals matchup. Actually, you know what we're going to do? I like it in the finals if the guest has the last vote. Teddy, you're going to start on this one as well. And Brooke's going to have the last vote to end the finals, determine the winner of this bracket, if it even gets to that point.
That's fair. Now, I did see someone in the chat say, Josh, you can't complain. You have Canes, which I'm guessing is Raisin Canes. But it may not have been you. It may have been Simon then. May have been Simon.
Yeah. That's a Canes. Southern thing, I think.
We got Canes.
I'm going to be honest. I think Raisin Canes.
Someone just told me a Canes is being open very close to me. I'm sorry. That was literally just told to me.
Yeah. I think Canes is disgusting compared to Bojangles. Bojangles chicken is the best fast food chicken you will have, whether it's Supremes, Cajun filet biscuits, Bowberry biscuits. If you have not been to a Bojangles, literally make a trip, a pilgrimage, if you will, to Bojangles to kind of brighten your day. It's Bojangles in the final.
One vote for Bojangles in the finals. Josh, where are you going on this one?
Respect it to everything Teddy said. A lot of respect. Bojangles is solid, but I'd rather have Chick-fil-A breakfast all day. It's Chick-fil-A for me, guys. Give me the minis.
For Josh, Brooke, you brought up the first time you went to a Bojangles was in college. Mine was the summer before I left for college. I grew up in the metro Atlanta area, so they were there, but there weren't necessarily a ton of them. One of my good friends who had a family all in South Carolina, grew up in South Carolina, knew I was going to Clemson, and on my birthday, kidnapped me and brought me to a Bojangles for breakfast in the morning. Blindfolded me, brought me there, and it opened my eyes to the world of Bojangles. It's top tier. It's well above Chick-fil-A. It's not even a question in my mind which way this is going. I'm going Bojangles, and it's not particularly close. Man, this is making me miss it so much. I got to get back to Clemson. I got to go to a game, eat some Bojangles. God, it's just going to be sitting in my mind for months now. Brooke, where are you going?
Jay says he'll mail you Bowberries.
Oh, that would be so good. Brooke, this is the moment. It is 2-1. Your vote will decide whether this goes to the chat, which I will tell you right now, the chat's leaning Chick-fil-A. So voting towards the chat, we'll give it to Chick-fil-A. Voting for Bojangles will give Bojangles the win. You get to determine right here who's going to come out on top in this bracket.
Well, before I cast my probably obvious vote, I just want to say a real quick story that Teddy thought he was going to get to avoid, but I am going to call him out on it now because before we left Chapel Hill from this weekend.
Yeah, Teddy.
You know what? Sometimes you can't take the heat, but he can hear me. Saturday, I said, I know we're meeting my sister for breakfast, but perhaps we should swing by a Bojangles, not for now, but for later, because we have learned that you can reheat a Cajun filet biscuit and Bo Rounds in the air fryer, and they turn out perfectly. I've never had fast food heat up with more precision and still taste almost exactly the same as when you just get it. And he said, no, we don't have time. I'd rather get home. And then today, before we started recording, he said, man, we should have gotten Bojangles. We could be eating it on the podcast. We were right there and we didn't go. And so I just want you to know that I could have been eating a Cajun filet biscuit with egg and cheese and a side of Bo Rounds as I cast my final vote for Bojangles to win the whole thing.
Bojangles is
it's
our
fair.
champion.
Oh, man.
We don't have any celebratory biscuits, but we're going to get some pretty soon. I have a feeling everybody on the stream is going to try to find a Bojangles as quickly as they can. Guys, thank you everyone for tuning in. Today, we determined with the help of Brooke and Teddy that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin is the best wide receiver duo in the NFL, and that Bojangles is the number one of fast food breakfast options. You can't argue with it. Brackets is science. There's no way that this is even arguable. Brooke and Teddy, I wanted to thank you guys both so much for coming on with us today. We really appreciate it. This was a ton of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast, man. It's been so much fun, as always.
Yeah.
Guys, and if you are not already,
thanks for putting up with both of us.
No, of course. I want to put up with you guys more. You guys should come on more
exactly.
often. That was awesome. Guys, if you are not already following our guests on Twitter, go and fix that right now. Truly, both of them incredible follows. Brooke is on Twitter at BE Pryor. That is Pryor. And then you can find Teddy on Twitter at Teddy Rinkinson. It's just that full name right there. So make sure you go over there and follow both of these guys. That is going to be it for us this afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time for some more fantasy football game show fun. Until then, though, everyone go eat some bow rounds, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Adios.
Trading makes fantasy fun. McDonald's is better. McGriddles. Let's go.
What? No, someone say,
End the show.